So the answer to your question is we don't require specific skills for those jobs. We don't require a specific educational background.
How many of those jobs are going to be like that?
Let me give you that number. Okay, so if you haven't heard, I gave the number of jobs here at the technician level is 196 at the 100 aircraft a year production rate. We have a breakdown of how many of those are entry level versus more experienced. So
how many are entry level?
Is about a third to a half of those are true. Is our expectation that those are entry level, as in someone without previous experience or specialized skills can walk in and take that position.
It's about 60 jobs.
It's a little. I apologize. After 3 hours of this, doing math in public is something I don't want to do. It's felt like 20, but I apologize. Thank you. Roughly a third of that. Yeah, it's
so about
60
jobs. 60 entry-level jobs. Okay, thank you.
Less than all third.
I will. One thing I do want to add. These new technology businesses, like ours, create an ecosystem around them. So you may look at our job numbers, and I think I'd be proud to create 60 entry-level jobs here that pay above the median salary, and give opportunities for folks who may not have those opportunities. I am absolutely proud of that. I also expect the ecosystem that gets built around new technology to create many more jobs than that. It is a multiplier.
Jobs creating killer drones.
Yes. Do we have another question?
Yes. I saw this movie one time where this like box shows up in front of someone's home door, and they open the box, right, and there's this button inside. And if they hit the button, they get someone like inordinately amount of money, but someone they don't know, like somewhere in the world, dies. And like for most of us, this is like a hypothetical question that like this is something that you're actively like pushing this button like over and over and over. So I'm wondering like how much money are you personally making for every one of these that you're selling?
Yes.
I have lost money for a long time here, so.
Well, that's not my question. I'm saying when you sell one of these, how much of it is going into your pocket? I'm sure that you've sunk a lot of your money into this, and that's why you're here and like really fighting for your life right now.
I'm sorry, I don't have that number for you. I really don't. It's not much.
You don't know how much you're going to be profiting off the death of innocent people?
I don't expect a profit of innocent people. Right? That is not my
At least be real with us.
You said that you've like never been affected by any type of bombing, right?
I'd like to hope that none of us have here.
Well, many of us have, as we've already said. And I'm sure you've seen like footage of different bombings that have happened and how it's affected different people. You have like no empathy for anyone that's like going through that?
I absolutely do.
Then why is this your life goal right now? If you are like an engineer, right? And you could be creating like, I don't know, like flying cars and like, I don't know, like making a better infrastructure for the country and like doing anything else that's like productive in any sort of sense. Like why are you choosing specifically to do this, especially in this area where everyone clearly doesn't want it? And you were talking about finding a home for your company. Like this is our home and we don't want this here.
Woo!
That position is one that clearly many folks here have. There are other folks in the community who have reached out and who do want to be a part of the opportunity that we're creating.
Where are they? I don't see them here. Oh, sorry. We have one.
I don't know why they podcast, not this. It's too much fun. But I am building this because I think it's truly necessary. I think this is a piece of what we're building. It's clearly the most contentious one. I understand why, but I think it is important, but it is just a piece.
Why not build it near a military base?
I have a couple more questions, actually. First of all, if you already have a place where you're going to be testing them, why can't you just be building them there?
Yeah. California won't let them.
So, like, if it's like not safe enough to have in your home, why is it safe enough to have in ours?
We're building the prototypes in California. I'm building these. These are operating in a way that that keeps the public safe, and that's how we will operate them here.
We're just a sweatshop.
Exactly. They don't want to unionize.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Unionization, huh?
I think a strong workforce is important.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I asked you, like, about bombings. In my time in the military, I saw a lot of footage of bombings. Do you know what someone does when a bomb's being dropped and they're holding their child?
I've clearly never been in that situation.
They try to protect them, of course, right? They, like, hold them, try to block what they can with their body. The footage that I've seen happening at the time, babies literally where their skin is melted into their mother's body, and they're still alive because they didn't get hit with the brunt of it, but their mom's dead. And then they're just screaming until they die painfully. And you're just cool with that?
No, I'm not.
So what are you doing to prevent that? You're aware that you're going to be profiting off of this, like that this is going to be happening under your watch.
We, the people, the citizens here of the United States, we empower the government to.
Now we're experiencing record heritage across the United States.
Yeah.
They are literally trying to take away our votes.
I just want to know why you think that it's okay for you to be actively letting this happen and profiting off of it.
I am building the tools we can use to keep our country safe.
Who's we? You're building the tools we can use to make our country safe. You're selling it to the highest bidder.
That's not. I'm here in the U.S. and I'm selling our aircraft to the U.S. government and other
Who are the
kind
others?
of private entities.
The U.S. government sells weapons to 70% of the world's dictators. Are you going to sell weapons to dictators? I guess it's not your responsibility since the government's going to do it, right?
It's our government.
You've also said that like other countries are out there like building these things. We have to be like doing these things that other countries are doing. Like a lot of people are out here like selling meth and making money off that. And like we don't need to jump into that too. Like why do we need to do something fucked up that someone else is doing?
By developing these capabilities, my goal is to protect us and to keep the freedoms that we have.
Like deciding what happens in our community?
Freedom.
Absolutely, you have that right.
But we didn't know.
The laws that we've complied with for our zoning application are developed by the community.
I don't care about you abiding by laws. Laws are like made by the people in power so they can do what they want. Laws don't really matter. Like what matters here is like what's right.
Woo.
So you promote murder. Okay.
Okay, we have a question right here. What's your name and where are you from?
I'm Sarah. I just moved to Fayetteville, so. you've said that you believe in the work you're doing, and you've said it's because of safety. I'm first of all interested in a more explicit explanation of how you would define safety and how these would be used for our safety as a country. And second of all, what would have to happen, what would have to go wrong with your work for you to believe that you were on the wrong side of history?
Thank you for that question. So I'll address the first one. We are providing the tools for our government to protect our borders and to protect our citizens. We don't build for a particular administration. We build for the United States. I apologize. The second part of your question, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. I guess people keep asking you so many questions. I have a follow-up question to that answer, and then I promise I'll be done. How can you design something to be used for such non-specific purposes? Like if you're not designing for an administration and a specific plan, I'm serious, I'm genuinely curious, I love engineering. Like how do you, if you don't have an explicit goal, how do you build towards your design?
So your question is, how do we decide what we're building? So what we're building is an aircraft, right? It's an aircraft that has a specific range and can carry a certain weight. That's an aircraft. So you're asking, how do we decide on that weight or range potentially?
Well, you just said, right, protecting borders. Like, how is it specifically designed to protect borders then?
It can be used to do tasks that are done by piloted aircraft today, by aircraft flown by folks like Mike.
I didn't ask that. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Let me get back to your question.
Yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. So what you're saying is it's like a more efficient tool to do what we're already doing.
In many ways, yes.
What would be the other ways?
Well, we're talking specifically about a military application, but this technology has broader applications.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of us are more, more like also scared. I'll say it. It's scary. Like having something brought to where you live is pretty terrifying, and I do appreciate you being here. Not all companies involved in this work are holding public forums, so I do want to thank you for that. But I also am very interested in your question, and maybe Michael too. Seriously, I'm curious how you would answer this question. What would have to happen or go wrong with your work for you to believe that you were on the wrong side of history?
That's a very interesting question.
Let him answer.
I will say this, and this is me. We build tools to empower our servicemen and women to protect us. Like that, we elect a government, and one some or many of us disagree with in many cases.
A government that's killed U.S. citizens.
Yes.
I'm curious about his answer to my question. Yeah. Please continue.
Ultimately, I have more power as a voter and as a citizen to compel my government to function in the way I want, in the way I would expect, and just like we all do.
All right, let's go ahead and why don't you go ahead and ask your question? What's your name?
He didn't answer my question, and
That's the best answer I have.
I'm serious, I would love to hear, Michael, could you answer that? Because you have more experience, obviously like a very emotional connection with this work, so
Mike
you're
the
willing.
murderer, let's go.
Guys, please let them speak. I'm really curious about this question.
I appreciate that. There are obviously a lot of political undertones with the conversation and the question. Just a little bit more background on me. So yeah, I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps, so worked under, I think, four different administrations. Okay, continuing the background. After I got out, retired in 2023, I actually ran for Congress. Finished second out of 6 in the primary where I'm from in Pennsylvania. And then following that, I got involved in municipal politics. I'm on the local school board right now. So what I alluded to before in terms of the conversations obviously stem from that. Some of my opinions, you can probably see them. If
Yeah,
you
I understand. I'm still curious about your answer.
Yeah, and so you don't build something for a particular administration, ultimately. You build it to, again, enable the people, the service members that are out there to have the capability to ideally defend American values.
American empire.
Free and open Indo-Pacific is what we're going for out there. What we're getting at ultimately is values. These are values-based questions. And I completely understand that. Your question is, what are our values?
My question is a little more specific. It's what I'm curious about is a threshold. So clearly you're in a room full of people who are not fans of your work, right? I don't envy you. But I'm curious, like, it's clear where our threshold is, or I shouldn't say that, it's clear where a lot of people in here, right, where their threshold is with what they see as morally wrong. I'm curious what would have to happen with what you're designing for you to see it as morally wrong or questionable.
Well, I would echo everything that Peter has said from the standpoint of we don't want it to be used against innocent people, against babies has been some of the quotes, for war crimes, all of those things. And I want you to know from me, that's what I very strongly believe. I'll leave it at that just from a political perspective because we're not up here commenting politically. But values-wise, that's where I personally am at.
So don't sell them.
Are you, I don't want to go to the next person until you feel like you've answered
Thank
the question.
you. Thanks for your answers. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. This guy's been waiting a while. Go ahead.
My name is Christopher Hosevar. I'm here in Fayetteville. So I have my bachelor's in physics and my master's in material science. I want to ask a few questions because as engineers, in science, we do have a privilege of getting access to a lot of research funding and we get access to do a lot of things that the normal person doesn't. But that also puts us in a box where we forget things. Over the last 4 years, I spent my entire time in my research building and got away from the wide variety of backgrounds I had been around for the 22 years of life before that. And over the last year, I got back out of that box to try and help advocate for the housing crisis we're in, healthcare, hunger we're dealing with here. And so, first, are you aware that we've been in a housing crisis for 3 years here?
I have.
So, one thing is, there are more homes for sale here over $1 million than under $250,000, which is pretty crazy considering of what you were talking about, the median income. We don't have homes that people can afford. So what happens when we bring in 250 engineering jobs or jobs making $100,000 or more is we're now having to create a housing market for that or fill that need. And we already can't fill the need of the people who live here making that median income. So we have a problem there, and a lot of the jobs that you talked about, you already had about 60 entry-level jobs, and there could be about 100 or a little bit more for non-degree work, but your targeted field outside of that is my field. And so I understand that you enjoyed airplanes, and that was kind of your inspiration. For me, getting into it was teaching and trying to better the world. And I think a lot of those who came before us, that was their idea, which is why we, in almost every engineering school, take an ethics course, is to remind us of the disasters we've had before. things when we put profit over people, the disasters that can happen. And the Challenger's the biggest one, that they always use as the example. And something that I felt like has kind of been ignored is the actual processes you're doing. So you brought in what chemical list you're doing, which I think is great, but that's mainly for the fire marshal, not really for us. So you've already mentioned in different articles that you've already ordered an advanced composite machine. That's pretty broad. And again, what I work on, I'd be broad too. A deposition machine for the materials I work on, that does not really explain anything. So what kind of advanced composite machine have you already purchased for your contracts?
Yeah, so we have, I'll throw the concern on competition aside. We have the first machine is a tailored fiber placement machine. Are you familiar with this technology?
Some, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So essentially, this is an industrial embroidery machine that's used to deposit carbon fiber in orientations and weaves that give you the properties you need, whether it's strength, whether it's lightweight.
Yeah. And so with that, we've got to keep our air pockets down below 2%, 2% or lower, I think it was. I don't work in carbon fiber, I work in 2D semiconductors. But some of the things that I've seen is used in a lot of other carbon fiber work is resin transfer molding. And so I want to know if that's one of the processes you're using. And it's okay if you don't want to answer that one, but if you're not, I just want to know what kind of PPE you're going to be using, because the type of protective equipment that we have to use when we do our research or our development or our products then goes to the same for the community and the safety for the community. So.
Sure. Any sort of resin impregnation process requires resin. The PPE for resin is essentially keeping it from splashing on you, right?
That's not true.
So it is not an aerosol. It's not anything that has flammability.
Yeah, and are you going to have a lot of things around as well? Like acetone is something I've had in every startup manufacturing company I've worked in and every lab I've worked in.
Ignition is use the isopropyl alcohol for that purpose. That's the chemical I mentioned and the quantities I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the other one I wanted to ask about was, so a lot of times you have to use molds, and sometimes it's closed molds or whatever, and I've done it for making different types of insulation for blood transfer boxes, which we also use drones for. Another great application for drones that is not the military is actually helping with medical transport, in case you would like another idea. And there's a lot of money in that to help people. But so with these molds, at the time we had to really use a lot more respirators because again we were dealing with insulation and there was some fiberglass in there as well. So I had a lot more of the lab coats and respirators and things like that. Do you expect that you need to install ventilation for a lot of your systems? Because I know the warehouse didn't necessarily have the type of ventilation you might need. As well as are you going to need the engineers or the technicians you have wear respirators? Because again, I think that's a big thing for the community is those chemicals getting into the air, contaminating the residential around. So that's just something that I think people need to know.
Yeah, so the one thing I want to point out, you mentioned warehouse before. The facility actually wasn't a warehouse. It was used for contract electronics manufacturing. One it's more intense than a lot of the processes that we're looking at today. So it does have a paint booth. It has a filtered dust sanding booth. So is your question? Respirators when sanding composites is pretty standard procedure. Yeah. It's done for any composite used elsewhere. It's done with painting cars or appliances or anything like that.
Yeah. And that was my question, and I just wanted to make sure everybody here knew that that's the kind of safety that those inside the facility are going to have to use, just so that they understand the safety concerns and environmental concerns that can come from this. But do you have a plan for a lot of things? So I worked on CNCs a lot, the CNC mills to cut different types of plastic and foam and things like that. So I know that creates a lot of particles, and are you going to then have to cut a lot of the carbon fibers that you're dealing with? And if you are, do you have a plan to make sure that those particles do not end up in our environment and outside of the facility?
Absolutely. So I've worked with carbon fibers for a long time. I've worked with them in, primarily it's been in California, where the regulatory and environmental protection environment is as stringent as it is anywhere in the U.S. And that's what we do today. And those are the procedures, the tools that we will utilize. Things like dust collection booths, downdraft tables, and those sorts of things.
Perimeter monitoring systems for off-site protection. We will equip. I'm not aware of one specifically for the use of for a carbon fiber build. We will comply with any and all regulations. I use the most stringent ones, and I expect that will be California. Those are the same operational rules and procedures will apply no matter where we operate.
So my last question before I move on is something that I've come to really like about Northwest Arkansas is the amount of community work there is, and it's from any small business, even from a business trying to pay more because of how difficult it is to afford housing here, and again to afford healthcare as well, and a lot of people struggle to feed their families, and so there's a lot of community work here. As a company who's planning to bring in a lot of higher salaries, whether it's keeping people here, which I'd have you keep in mind that a lot of our students are transplants, so just because they come from the university does not mean they're not necessarily a transplant. But what kind of do you plan to try to be a part of the community, not just because I don't think you're going to be living here. It sounds like you're doing the prototyping in California. So we really value community work here and trying to work on the issues we're dealing with, and making sure people here are taken care of and not left behind. And I want to know if that is something that you all value and want to try to do if you do end up having a facility here.
Thanks for that question. Part of what I'm doing today is starting the process of demonstrating how much we value the community. We haven't done a very good job to date, and this is what is important to me to fix. We are. To answer your question on folks, on the jobs here, I think it's a good thing if the students who graduate from University of Arkansas stay here and have high-paying jobs here. I think it's a good thing if there are opportunities for the folks who don't attend university. I think that benefits the community. I think the investment in the community is a good thing. I think that is how we help the unhoused problem. I think having those resources come in, and that's something that I think is a real benefit. And I absolutely will stand by that. We want to be part of the community. We want to support the community. We want to be seen as members of the community. Maybe not one that everyone sees eye to eye on everything that we do. I think that's okay. I'm willing to have these kinds of hard conversations. But I believe, and I strongly believe that us being here benefits the community.
Real quick, as a school board guy, we did meet with the Fayetteville Public Education Association and are talking with them about partnerships when you're talking about pre-apprenticeships, apprenticeships.
Don't corrupt our children.
We have a question right here. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, I live here in
Fayetteville. I just wanted to clarify something for the record that you said earlier. So it is your intent that after the prototyping is done, after you've established your manufacturing systems here, you intend to have these aircraft that you are constructing fly out of Drake Field to the people that are buying them. Is that correct?
That is my hope. In order to get, let me just clarify that. Any sort of aircraft operation ultimately requires an approval process at the federal level, and that process involves some community conversations at the state and local level. So it's not up to me what I do. I have the things that I think are what we should do, but ultimately that decision-making power is regulated.
Great. Are you aware that at the Board of Adjustments meeting, that is the exact opposite of what you said to the people on that board? You said, and I quote, "We have no intention of flying our finished products out of Drake Field to our customers." You said that. It is on the recording.
Yes.
Woo! If I did, I apologize for that.
Sure.
So which is it then?
But
All right, this one that's been waiting a long time, we're going to do you, and then I'm going to come talk to you. Make sure you don't miss these guys over here, Katie.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Anita Shanae, and I live here in Fayetteville. I have 3 questions, and I hope that you can answer them simply with a yes or no. Let's see. So my first question is, were any University of Arkansas employees required to sign any NDA bearing on your project?
I don't think so. I'm happy to get you a yes or no answer, but I just don't have that in front of me. I don't recall any that I've signed with them.
It's another lie. We have 4 documents.
Okay. Then the answer is yes. I apologize for not having that tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I'm just a little puzzled. I mean, you are the CEO, and you don't know something like that. But second question.
Okay.
In Little Rock and Conway, some members of the Chamber of Commerce signed NDAs in connection with data center projects. Did anybody from either the National, City, Chamber of Commerce sign any NDA like the one you imposed on us for your project?
You're saying to have other communities or other development groups or governments sign NDAs with us?
No. Others have
Okay.
in Conway and Little Rock.
Okay.
So I'm seeing a pattern, and I'm asking you, did that pattern apply here? Whether those outside private groups signed NDAs bearing on your project?
I'm sorry, and I'm trying to make sure I understand the question so I can answer it fully. You're asking if other outside groups signed an NDA with us?
Specifically the Chamber of Commerce, whether that be Fayetteville, statewide, whatever, bearing on your project.
I don't know the answer. I can find out that out for you. But I do want to address this repeating question on NDAs. We have, every community we've gone into, from our first conversations at the Fayetteville Airport, to our conversations with the city here, to our conversations elsewhere, we have been very open and transparent about what we intend to do. I've shared that with every government entity that we've spoken with. And quite frankly, I am proud of building these aircraft. I have zero intention and zero desire to hide that. And in fact, I'm proud of it. We had a ribbon cutting where we invited everyone to show the things that we are building in Fayetteville. So, to answer your question, I don't know specifically. I can find out for you, but what I will say, and I will continue saying this, is that my intention has never been, and never will be, to hide what we're doing from the community. There are technical details that we keep from our competitors, and that is the sole intent of the NDA. And I am here, and I will continue demonstrating that we are sharing, we are building aircraft, or our intention is to build aircraft. We are starting off with building composite structures, and our end goal, we would like to one day fly these aircraft, deliver them from Drake Field to the customer.
Okay, thank you. You say you'll get back to me, I'm assuming not personally. Would you please bring that information to the city council meeting?
I'd be happy to do so.
Yes.
there are many challenging questions here tonight, and I appreciate them all. The NDA one is, quite frankly, the one that is the simplest answer.
Good. I have one more. So the data centers, the NDAs in the data center projects in West Memphis and Conway had a provision in them that required cities to check back with the developers about whether a FOIA request could be turned down under FOIA exemptions. Did the NDA you impose on us contain requirements like that?
No NDA I've ever signed has provisions on checking back on FOIA requests. In fact, if I'm recalling the text correctly, all of our NDAs have provisions for sharing government mandated, not applying in the case of government mandated sharing of data.
I just thought of another question. It's very short. So you hear all this doubt and confusion about the NDA. Are you aware that when a FOIA request was submitted to the city claimed it had no copy of the NDA, so therefore it could not produce it? Would you produce the NDA at the city council meeting?
Absolutely. If I have that NDA, if that NDA exists, I will have a copy of it, and I'm happy to share that.
If the NDA exists,
if it hasn't reached a paper share,
you're not even sure that it did exist?
I am.
We have city officials who have said.
Perfect. I have a record of all of the NDAs I've signed, and I am happy to share, to go through that record, find the one from the city, and I presume it will exist there, and share that. I honestly, folks, like this, I have nothing to hide on this NDA. I have not come here under any false pretenses.
Liar.
Yes, you did.
This, again, I'm happy to answer this question because it's easy.
Yeah. Excuse me. So you really do have an opportunity to produce the evidence and satisfy all the doubt, and I ask you to do that, please.
I appreciate that, and I will do that process.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mike. I've been living in Fayetteville for 2 years. Very simple, like yes or no question. So is this a true statement? When wars happen, innocent people die horribly. Do you think that's true?
I think that has been true throughout history.
Okay, so your company is selling weapons to militaries that will be used in wars. So you're essentially profiting off of innocent people dying.
That has been part of conflict for all time. My hope with these aircraft is that we prevent conflict.
Okay, but look, man, I know you're dishonest. You know, I really, you're trying to protect your profits. You're a very small part of a large machine that is going to eventually kill most of the human race, you know? I don't know, man, I don't have much else to say. Just, there's gonna be a point when everyone's suffering enough that they'll have nothing to lose, and people like you aren't gonna have anywhere to hide. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Laura Pachegas, and I live in Springdale, but it is only 20 minutes away from here, so part of this area. And I didn't come here to live in an area where the main activity would turn out to be the production, manufacturing of war weaponry to kill people. I think it's a lot disingenuous for you guys to say that you personally are against killing babies, killing people, et cetera, but disavow any responsibility for the end result, which you know very well because your biggest client is the War Department, Department of War, and you know what they're going to do with it. I don't think you could deny that you know what they're going to do with it. And also with Peter Thiel being a big investor, apparently, that I learned tonight, we know what, and you should know what he's going to do with it. And none of that is something we want at all, nor do we want it to be manufactured here. But my question is something else. We have heard recently that your company, under a different name, but the same company, donated $7,000 to the campaign of Representative Womack. Is that true?
You're asking if our company has not made a donation that I'm aware of.
But under a different name, which I found out online through AI, it's the same as Warm Arrow. It says that.
This may be surprising.
And it's published, it has been published, it's public information that under this other name, which I can't remember because I'm 83, all right, is the same as Warm Arrow, just under a different name. Are you saying you deny that?
I am not aware of that. Yes.
How can you not be? I don't understand that at all. Has this company under that name or the other name, which is Autonomous something something, I forget, can you look it up, Cynthia? Have you, or this under that name, Swarm Arrow, or another name, donated to any other of our federal or local politicians?
Let me find out an answer to that question. I don't know, and I apologize for not having that.
I don't understand if you're the CEO how you would not know that.
She says she knows the name of the company, didn't you say?
Yes. Autonomous Defense Technology.
Oh, did you find it?
No, she's got it back here. Oh.
All right, thank you. Where's the name of it here?
Autonomous Defense Technologies Corporation.
That's it. Isn't that the same as Swarm Arrow?
That is us.
All right, that's public knowledge now. We've seen the receipt of that donation to Womack after he cut the ribbon or helped cut it.
Okay.
I'm
sorry.
It's legal corruption.
So, would you tell the city council then? Would you please find out? Because it is your company. I suppose you can find that out.
I certainly
being
can.
the CEO. If you guys have given other donations to any Arkansas legislators or senators or U of A.
Legal corruption.
I will absolutely find that out.
Thank you.
We have a question over here. What's your name and where are you from?
Appreciate you. My name's Alvaro Sanchez. I'm born and raised in Springdale, Arkansas. A lot of corporations like to have this cheap excuse of this is the way the world is going, and this is just inevitability. If sadistic violence is inevitability to make profit, does that sit well with you?
Let me make sure I understand the question. You said profiting is.
If this is repeat that one more time, please. If this is the only way the world is going into making a capital gain, and this is your domain, are you okay with just going through and falling into the inevitability of sadistic violence? If that's the only way to make a profit, is that are you fine with just stumbling upon this way to make a profit?
I am building tools that
Bro is a broken record. Oh my God.
If I'm okay building the aircraft that I'm building, the answer
I'm
is
asking
yes.
you if sadistic violence is the only way to make profit.
I don't believe that is the only way that is the only application for this, as you seem to imply.
That's what our government does constantly.
You're going to get your second question. Go ahead.
The inevitability of progress is what corporations use as a cheap way to lend itself to corporate control. That inevitability of corporate control is the only way that this world can go. That is not the world that is meant for us as a people. How are you going to help us as a people have our inevitability of just having our damn lives and having our damn nature intact and having our own bills paid? Yeah. Why are you going to come in and fucking ruin our nature? These are not rocket lives. You know that AI makes mistakes. It makes mistakes at a certain degree. It has hallucinations. Do you not know that AI has hallucinations?
I certainly do.
Okay, so you're going to build an aircraft that uses AI, that the intended cargo is going to be bombed and it's going to make mistakes and kill people innocently.
That's a great misconception.
Misconception, sure.
The use of AI. We are not using AI in that way. We are developing aircraft that ultimately are under the control of the operators, be that servicemen and women, or be that civilians operating them in simple applications.
You're a cheap excuse for a human and you're a sellout to humanity.
We'll agree to disagree on that one. Thank you.
I have a comment and a question. First, for my comment, I've really sat with this and tried to decide if I was being petty or not, but I cannot let it go. It is my understanding that y'all are here to rehabilitate your image. I believe you're more here to rehabilitate your image to City Council, and you knew what you were coming into and you weren't going to change minds here. But there's a difference between real empathy and performative empathy. And Mike, I'm actually talking to you. I've watched you all night sit over there and just smirk. And at first I thought maybe it was just nerves. But then every time I see someone say, Peter Thiel, you smirk harder. And I still was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. But then I saw a guy talking about his family being blown up by a drone, and I watched you have to turn your head to not laugh. The next time you're trying to turn a town, leave Mike at home because he's doing a really bad job.
Woo!
And I'm not done going off on Mike. He came up here and he gave Mr. Military performative sad story, and his voice choked up, and then he turned it right back off and he went back over there to smirking. And then he handed it off to him, oh, Mike's got to tell his story. And I wonder how many times Mike practiced that story in the mirror to show y'all that he really cares and he connects with you. And it's all bullshit. And I hope our city council sees this. And my actual question, true or false? Your top source of revenue is defense contracts. Your number one is defense contracts. True or false?
That is correct.
Thank you.
I have a question right here. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Patty and I'm from Bella Vista. And the problem with going later is you have more follow-ups and other things, so I do have a few things. But somebody asked a question back there about what the threshold was that you would see or witness before it would perhaps shake you up and make you think you're doing the wrong thing. My question, the follow-up to that is, what is it that you will define a success by creating and manufacturing? What would be your big dream businessman goal of how many of these do you want to see made and have deployed somewhere in the world? What would happen with them? What would be successful?
It's very simple. Success in the military domain is never having to use these.
Bullshit.
What? Okay, I'm just going to move on from that. So, one of the things you said was you said that this is just a piece of what you're building. So I guess my question is, if this is a piece of the pie, withholding the flavor of the pie seems to be missing. What is the bigger pieces that this is part of, if this is just a piece of something?
So what I was referring to when I said that is that military application is a piece of the broader domain that we can apply this technology.
Okay, so not anything you're doing, but to the Department of Misnamed War.
Well,
you're a piece
but also
of that
to
bigger
logistics,
thing.
also to environmental sensing, also to firefighting.
Surveillance.
Is anybody from the Northwest Arkansas Advisory Council here tonight for moral support?
How about your PR team?
So
you're looking. The three of us are here. To answer questions we didn't bring. We don't.
So
I think this would be easy, but we also didn't bring. We didn't bring security blankets. We didn't bring
So I think they're hurting
We didn't
you.
bring a PR team.
They're hurting you by allowing this to happen. They're letting you guys take the heat for the demise of our nation that is happening, and the greed that is swelling up is being driven by those who participate in councils such as these, who deem themselves the big advisors, to think that the community doesn't recognize that it's their money that's pushing an agenda. So I think their feet need to be held to the fire a little bit, and it's, I guess, commendable that you guys came without them, but it shows me more of who they are, and it gives me even less faith in what their mission and their advising is. Seems even more self-serving on their part than anything else, that one of the gazillion that are supposedly on this council wouldn't show up here.
I appreciate that concern for us. We're not here at any behest. We're not here. I'm not here personally because a council or some other group told us to come here. We're here because we heard, and very clearly, that there are concerns and voices in the community that need to be shared, and we need to hear. And that is why I'm here.
I have a feeling you're trying to recover because Mr. Maroney is slimy, and he has misrepresented you guys, and you need to recover. And nobody here trusts him, and he's been your shield or your voice, whatever it is. And when he spoke to the city of Fayetteville and showed up and said, and basically threatened the council and said, if you don't pass this, you won't have a seat at the table. And that was very threatening, and I think that raised up everybody to say, what do you mean? Like, this is our city. This is not for him to say that nobody will have a seat. So don't give them that grace of not showing up and not speaking up, because they need to be held accountable. But I don't want to digress here. So I also am from Illinois, the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Spent 50 years of my life there, and I moved here because it was the natural state. I mean, honestly, it was because my husband's a mountain biker and that's what he wants to do, but the trees got me. I worked for an airline for 34 and a half years, and you could probably figure out which one by doing the connection there. So I can appreciate a love for aviation and the industry and how it sucks people